I remember mindlessly scrolling through Facebook and I landed on this article, this black and white picture, and I clicked it. And yeah, I believe to this day that article saved my life. Hi, I'm Lex, that dude, and I've had a pretty unique few years. The past 4 years, I have gotten married, realized I was transgendered, moved from California to North Carolina, from North Carolina to New York, got my titties chopped off in New York, then moved back to North Carolina. I've given myself over 100 shots of testosterone. I think that's just kind of the beginning. The cool part is, I have documented my whole journey. I have hundreds of hours of footage and thousands of pictures just ready to show. You guys get to see my past, chill with me in the present. I guess we'll battle my future together. Welcome all. This is Evolution of Lex. What's up, guys? How you doing? Let me talk to y'all for a second. Okay, so last week we started out episode 1, kind of dive in real slow, tiptoe in the water, so you kind of get to know me. But this week we gonna really get into it. Before we do, just discuss something real quick. So as long as I can remember, and I mean like long time, real long, like as long as my mind can process vocabulary, I have been cussing. Okay, I have already shot all of this footage, and I do have a potty mouth, and that is something I'm kind of teetering on the line of, is this just me and I just need to accept that, or do I kind of need to calm it down a little bit? So if you hear something like or that's just me just letting one of them cuss words rip. So bring your kids back in here. Come on now, bring your kids back in here. We're gonna make this a family show. We got everything covered. We ain't gonna get crazy. I got you. All right, let's go. All together. I was obviously always a tomboy. I mean, let's be real. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? There was never an active moment where I walked into a closet and said, I want to wear a skirt today. That just never happened. So I was caught between like what my mom wanted, or like what she was teaching me, like society stuff. She was just teaching me, like, you're a little girl, this is what little girls like, but I was caught between that and like trying to do that to please her and kind of keep up that and what I was naturally drawn to, which was, a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and going outside and throwing some rocks or climbing a tree. I was just always that kid. Even in school, I can remember so incredibly vividly clear. I think it was kindergarten, and I had this basketball that I had just gotten, and I just remember like trying to it sounds so, I was just trying to impress these little girls with my basketball skills. I didn't have any.
Yes. Well, I have a number of clients since meeting Lex who are transgender, but I don't have any personal friends or relatives other than Lex. Yes, and I would say it goes both ways. Interacting with clients who are transgender has helped me understand the process, and I think it makes it easier to relate to Lex because of my clients and relate to my clients because of Lex, because there seems to be a shared experience, whether it's working with someone who's male to female or female to male.
I remember wanting to get this haircut. I think my stepdad was giving me the haircut, and I can remember them telling. I just remember telling them what I actually wanted, and I remember when it was done, I went to the mirror. I looked in the mirror, and it was like cut, like. Ooh, I was not happy. I can remember like crying and being like really upset, and like they were just like, "You thought we were gonna cut it real short? No, we ain't cutting all your hair off." And I just remember just being like, "But this hair's getting in the way. I don't like this hair." And then in 11th grade that summer, I finally convinced my mom to freaking do it, and she took me to the salon, and I that was the very first time I had my hair cut, and I actually felt kind of, that was like the first step to feeling a little more normal. And I don't believe that long hair equals girl. I think that's ridiculous. But to me, long hair on this girl's body made me feel even more feminine in a way. It was like anything that was extra feminine made me feel even more feminine. Like if society said, your hair, most women have long hair and most men have short hair, then I was doing everything I could to go against society standards, because to me that felt, maybe people will see me for me now if my hair's short. This side. It really is a mountain, and it's like you have to climb it. You don't know what the hell it's gonna look like when you get to the top, because it's confusing. It's so confusing, and it's such a climb. But it's a perfect platform because this is how I figured out, for real, like, that I was able to put a name to what I'd been feeling my whole life was through YouTube. I was just mindlessly going through Facebook one night, and I stumbled across this article, and I fully believe that this article saved my life. Um, it was about this guy named Dade Barlow. It was an article about him and his wife and how they kind of had gone through this thing, this transgender thing. I hadn't heard that word a lot before I was able to put a name on myself. And I remember watching Dade's YouTube, and he kind of had the same, where he was just kind of documenting his process along the way. And I remember watching the very first video, and it kind of just struck a chord. Like, it already got my attention. I watched all of his videos probably within like a day or two, and he had a good many on there. And I remember watching it first with my wife Kate. We were kind of watching them together, and then she would kind of do her own thing, and I just stayed in it. And I was so fixated on it. I could not get it. I just had to know what happened, and how, and what, how does he have facial hair, and what is going on, and how is this a thing? And I was like, really, he was the most curious I'd ever been. I watched everything, and I remember feeling very confused, but also like very aware. And I can remember feeling like this guy is saying things that are like inner thoughts that no one has ever heard. Like, even my own like inner thoughts, that make my own confused inner thoughts, like this guy is like speaking them out loud. And I'm like, I think with every episode my eyes got wider, because it was like, oh my God. Like, because this has not been something that somebody's talked to me about, and it's been explained. I was very ignorant when it came to this subject.
It was a total surprise. And I feel bad saying that, because for other people maybe it wasn't shocking, and I'm like, well, how could I, the person supposedly the closest person to him, be so blind to it. But it did really shock me, and in retrospect, I can think back and identify moments that we shared, or aspects of Lex's personality that would point toward Lex feeling extremely uncomfortable in his body, but it just never occurred to me that he really felt so strongly about it that he would want to change. I think it also, well, I didn't ever know anyone that was transgender. I mean, I had heard the word, I'm sure, but certainly growing up in the conservative South, not being raised in a conservative family, but just not ever having met anyone who was trans, never being exposed to it as a plausible concept in the media at all. So I just never considered it a possibility for Lex, even though he would say things like, oh, I hate my boobs, that, if I could get rid of them, I would, or something like that. So, despite knowing that he wasn't at home in a female body, it just never occurred to me that, that he actually identified as male.
Not long, I think the next night, Kate and I, this was in July of 2016, I can remember it like yesterday. Kate and I went to a sushi restaurant in Glendale, California, where we were living at the time, and we had just a chill, dinner, and we were just having chill conversation, and I can remember there was this group of men, businessmen, probably 12 of them, literally right here to my right, and she was just talking about men or something like that, or some I don't even remember the exact conversation that we were having about men or something, and I was like, well, what if I told you I was a man, or maybe I'm trans? And that was the first time I said it out loud, was when I told her. And we looked at each other, and she was kind of smirking, and then I said, I don't think I'm kidding. And she was just I literally think I saw her heart sink. I think I saw that within her. And it was weird and awkward and quiet, and we got out of there kind of quickly. And we talked about it for a little while. It hasn't always been, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but for the most part, I honestly could say from my perspective of how she's reacted and taken it, I don't know what I would do if my wife, being attracted to women, came up to me and told me this. I knew, and I still know, that her being a lesbian was something that a title she held to the highest regards, and who wouldn't, right? It was, why wouldn't you want to be, but at the same time, I don't know, I knew this is who I was, and I was like, well, I can't just be oh, well, okay, you want to be with a girl, so I'll just, keep that under wraps. I wouldn't be being truthful to myself or to her. I would be lying to two people instead of, one.
Well, he didn't tell me in person. He sent me an email. And no, I was not surprised at all. I had suspected. I guess my mind went to, how are they going to navigate this as a couple, and is this going to change their relationship? And obviously you're my daughter, how are you feeling about it? And kind of emotionally where you stood.
Looking at it more holistically, sometimes it's hard to remember that you, now looking at you, Lex, you're the same person that inhabited that other body prior to your medical transition. Sometimes because visually, it looks like two different people, it's hard to remember that it's actually the same person with the same experiences and the same memories and the same emotions. And most of the time I just see you and I just see Lex.
So we did it. We made it through the introduction. I'm going crazy. Feel like you know me yet? I'm going to start working on the next episode, and before I do, I kind of need your help. So I have 3 ideas for the next episode, all of them in which are going to be at future episodes, but I just want to know which one you want to see first. Either option 1, which will be the voice in my journey with that whole adventure. Option 2 is the dark days, which are the days right before I started taking testosterone. I won't keep it super dark. We'll make it fun. Option 3 is the shot, the weekly testosterone shot I have to take, and my relationship and journey with that. You pick that. Just hit the comment section and tell me which one you really want to know about. Tell me now so I could go ahead and start putting them episodes now. I will go ahead and put Dade's information as well. I'll link it below. Also, there's like a little thumbs up. If you liked it, smash that thing. If you didn't like it, you can hit that thing too. And then there's the subscribe button. You can subscribe. That'd be cool. And then there's like a bell. I don't know what the bell does, but I think that's like magical land. They be talking about the bell all the time. I need to look in and see what happens with the bell. But if you really liked it, you can hit that bell, because I think some really cool thing happens when you hit the bell. So yeah. Speak with clarity.